Hey guys, welcome to another speed build. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today we are over in Del Sol Valley and I am building a Mediterranean style family home. This is built over in the more residential area of Del Sol Valley. It's not where all of the mansions are and where all of the celebrity Sims live. This is where the quote unquote normal Sims live. It is where that really pretty cul-de-sac is, and you have Vanessa across the street and her house, and the default houses that are here are pretty small compared to what I'm building right now. And I just didn't really care about having it match those surrounding houses. Usually I do, but I just really wanted to build this particular house. I came across it on Pinterest and I thought it was so pretty, and I almost built it over in Oasis Springs, but I have been dying to build over in Del Sol Valley. I just never have a good opportunity to do so, and I figured this was the perfect time to do it. This house fits so beautifully here in Del Sol Valley. I can get over the fact that it doesn't really match any of the surrounding houses. Hopefully you guys don't mind that either, but if you don't like that and you're like really wanting it to match the houses surrounding, you could totally place this in Oasis Springs and it would look just as good there too. I built a lot of suburban houses and this was a really nice break to change it up a little bit. I really hope you guys enjoy it as well. Of course, if you do, please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you have not already. Doing those things, especially leaving a like, lets me know that you enjoyed this particular build and you would love to see me build more homes just like this one. Also, consider sharing this with your friends if they are Simmers as well and if you think that they would enjoy it. Also, don't forget to leave your comments down below of what your favorite part of today's build is. So this lot that I am building on today is absolutely ginormous. It is 50 by 40 if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's 40 by 30, but I believe it's 50 by 40. It is huge. It took me forever to build this house. I mean, I guess it didn't take me that long per se, but it definitely felt like it. And so this video is kind of on the longer side. I had to speed it up a little bit more than I like to just to keep it at a decent time frame. Hopefully it's not too fast for you guys. If it is, I'm sorry. But you can see the particular lot that I'm building on up in the top left-hand corner. It's called Inner Circle. It is at the very end of the cul-de-sac. I absolutely love the look of cul-de-sacs in The Sims and in real life. I really wanted to buy a house on a cul-de-sac, but those are so hard to come across nowadays. I actually grew up on a cul-de-sac, like in a house that was on a cul-de-sac, and it was absolutely amazing being a kid. Not having to worry about cars too much. Obviously you still do, but not like if you live on a busy road or a road that people have to take to get to their house, you know? So it's so nice having a family on a cul-de-sac, and I love the look of this one. It looks like a realistic cul-de-sac, which I love, and I tried to place the driveway right in front of the area that has like a hill where it looks like it's made for cars to be able to go up. You see that in the left-hand corner? That is why I placed the driveway where I did, and then I based pretty much the rest of the house off of that spot. This house is based off of an inspiration photo, but that's exactly what it is, just an inspiration photo. So I pretty much just went off of that photo on Pinterest, and then I kind of went with what I wanted to do. It doesn't look exactly the same as the one on Pinterest did, but I think this one turned out so pretty. I never do Mediterranean style houses, and that's not because I don't like to. I just find them a little bit more difficult to do the right way compared to suburban houses. Suburbans just come so easy to me for some reason, and Mediterraneans don't, especially when it comes to the furnishings on the inside. Something about the dark details, like the dark brown woods all over the place, just doesn't sit right with my eyes. I always tend to go for like white trim and stuff like that, but it was so nice to change it up. I am glad I did not do a white trim because the brown fits this house so well. One of my favorite parts of this house is the entryway when you first walk in. I absolutely love the archway that's there. I used a couple of platforms instead of stairs so that you can go up a couple of steps to reach the front door. And that front door from Cats and Dogs is such a nice front door. I don't use it ever, I don't think, because I find it hard to pair with houses. You know, like I find it hard to pair with windows and make it look right. But with that circular archway in front of it, it literally was the perfect door to use here. Not only those things, but the lights that I placed in the entryway, I think those look so nice, and it gives like an elegant look, which you really wouldn't expect in a Mediterranean style house. I know those are not outside lights, but I don't care. I think that they look so nice. It gives it such a grand look, and I use the exact same lights on the inside. I have this super large entryway that has a cutout on the top, and so it's like a two-story entryway basically. And those lights that I used on the outside entryway I used on the inside as well, but I used the larger versions or the longer versions that are for double tall wall heights, and I just sized them down one time so that they weren't too long, but I think that whole area turned out so nice. You know, one of the best parts about building on such a large lot and building such a large house is the fact that I'm able to use my favorite hedgerow bushes. If I build on too small of a lot and the house is too small or has too many nooks and crannies, then I find it impossible to use those hedgerow bushes, and I have to use my other second favorite ones that still are not as good. They are also from base game. You probably know what I'm talking about. It's the literal only other hedgerow bush we have in the game other than those super cubey ones that look fake. I don't like those. I don't use them unless I have to. Maybe if I'm doing like a castle or something like that, I would use them because they look like perfect for like a castle. But if I'm doing an actual house, I use these or the other shorter ones that are darker green. And don't get me wrong, those are nice too, but these are so much better. I love the shape of these. I don't know why, but I do. I just find them a little bit cuter. And the color is a little bit better too. So this is the first time I'm using this kind of exterior wall on a Mediterranean style house. I usually do like stucco, which I guess this could be considered stucco, but like the base game stucco. Or I use the base game like distressed brick look that looks painted over. And this one is a combination of just base game stone mixed with Jungle Adventure stucco slash stone. So that stucco with a stone on the bottom is actually from Jungle Adventure. I was surprised to find that match so well with the stone from base game. I really didn't realize those matched as well as they did. Not all of the swatches on the Jungle Adventure version matches the base game version because there is no swatch on the base game version. That's what you get, whether you like it or not. And that is a little bit unfortunate. They should have updated the base game stone to match all of the swatches from the Jungle Adventure version, but hey, at least one of them matches. That's better than nothing. And there's some pretty good ones too. Like some of them have like a dirty swatch where it has green algae kind of throughout the stone, which I happen to love. I feel like that gives it such a good realistic look, especially for older types of buildings. But luckily they did give us that stucco alone. Like it doesn't just have the stone on the bottom. There's a version that has it without the stone. So I was able to use that on top and then the version with the stone on the bottom. And I kind of switched it up a little bit. Some of it has stone all the way up to the ceiling on the bottom story. And then some of it has it just on the very bottom. It almost gives it a foundation look. I think it looks so good that way, kind of mixing it up a little bit. And I thought it paired so good with the red flower window boxes. I usually do yellow. I almost did yellow, but I said, you know what? If I'm changing it up, I'm not doing what I usually do. let's not do the yellow flower boxes because I do those literally all the time. Let's do the red. The reason why I don't do the red often is because there's literally no flowers that matches with them. But I was able to work around that once I did the landscaping at the end of the build. I end up just doing like the ferns, which makes sense for a Mediterranean style house anyways, and I paired it with some like white flowers. So that at the end made it look really nice with the red flower boxes on the house. I would have loved to have done red flowers. I tried, but the only flowers that really matched just didn't look that good, so I couldn't do it. I had to do the white. And this roof, by the way, this is the Jungle Adventure roof. This is not the base game tile. I actually like this one a little bit better than the one from base game. This one looks more distressed and it has a little bit more detail, which I really like in The Sims. I think it looks so good. Obviously in real life, the cleaner version would look better, but in The Sims, this one I feel like just looks a lot better than the base game one. Not that I don't like the base game one, this one just has more detail like I was saying. So I really wanted to have a really nice backyard area to match the nice house, you know? And so I'm jumping the gun a little bit and I am doing the backyard first before I even furnish the house. But I'm so glad that I did because it gave me some ideas of how I could furnish the house and the kind of Sims I want to live there. So this is the pool area. Right now I'm placing the hedgerow bushes that has the fairy lights sprinkled throughout it. I absolutely love those. They're super cute. I love to put them by pool areas. It gives it a really nice decorative look, especially at night. And you can never have too many fairy lights in my opinion. And so I am placing some all around the fence as well. Those are from Toddler Stuff Pack. And I also have those exact ones on the back patio as well, like the roofed area that has like, you know, a roof over it when you first walk out of the back door before you walk down the steps. I absolutely love having the look of the fairy lights going from one side of the patio to the other. And so when I did the back of the house, I kept that in mind, to be totally honest. Like, the back of the house looks the way it does mainly because I knew I wanted to place the fairy lights like that, which it really did help me design the back area anyways. I think this backyard looks so unique. I love the platform use where you first walk out, you know, you're on the back patio where I end up putting a grill with some like chairs to lounge on, and it has the fairy lights overhead, and then you walk down one step and you have a little table there, and then you walk down a couple more steps and you have the pool area. And there's steps on both sides. You can either go onto the one side with the lounge chairs, or you can go on the other side that leads to the side of the house. And I also put some playground equipment in this little corner right here. Of course, we have a water slide. I made sure I kept one of the kits installed that had the little fountains that I could add on the pool because that gives it such a nice look. It definitely was needed for a house like this to have a really nice pool area. It honestly almost gives resort vibes out there, which I think is so fitting for this house. And I can't remember which kit that is called. I think it's like Outdoor Riviera or something Riviera, I think. I could be wrong, but it's the one that has a lot of like outdoor patio stuff, and then it has those fountains you can place on the side of the pool. It just is such a nice kit. So I actually don't have every single pack installed at the moment. I decided to pick and choose which ones I thought would work the best with each other to create this Mediterranean style house, with some extras installed of course, but for the most part it's just like whatever packs I thought would work here. So I had some people wonder what I meant by having packs downloaded, and I should probably use the term disabled instead because I'm really just disabling certain packs that I don't feel like using during a certain build, like this one for example. So I use James Turner's website because it's the easiest way to do it, and that's how I recommend to do it, by the way. I can't really explain it too much because it's kind of hard to, but basically if you type in Google disable packs Sims 4, his website will pop up probably the first one, you know? And so you go there and he has all of the packs listed and you pretty much choose which ones you want to keep downloaded. And then you copy and paste the formula it has into the property settings on the EA app. He has better instructions on that website, but that is what I mean when I say I don't have a certain pack downloaded, is I'm really just disabling it so I don't see it in my game, and then it clogs up my whole catalog, and then I don't accidentally use those items either. Like if I'm trying to do a limited pack build or a base game only build, that is the easiest way to do it, rather than just keep going into the filter setting and changing it to base game only, and then still seeing all of the other pack items. And knowing me, I would end up giving up and being like, well, this item right here from Cats and Dogs would look really good right there, so you know what? It's fine. I'm not going to do base game anymore. Now I'm just going to use the packs because I have no self-control. And so to avoid that, the best thing I could do is just disable some packs. It also makes it so much easier to look through the items when you don't have everything installed, because there's so many items through all of the packs that it just clogs up your build by catalog to no end. It makes it impossible to find things unless you know exactly where things are, because you build all the time like I do. And even so, I still don't remember where certain things are. Like I have to type it in search bar or just filter to the pack if I know the pack, which most likely I do, and then I find the item that way. But yeah, it definitely clogs up the build by catalog, that's for sure. So we are starting to furnish the inside of the house. I did cut out the floor plan once again. I'm sorry. These larger houses just take so long to do that some stuff has to be cut out. It is what it is. And the floor plan, a lot of the time, it doesn't come together so easy. And so I do a lot of trial and error and back and forth, and it's not fun to see anyways. The fun part is watching me furnish anyways. At least I hope so. So here in the garage, I end up making it the laundry room as well. But one thing I love to do on builds is adding a little side door, especially if I'm using the double tall wall height and then using platforms to make it look like it's on a foundation, even if it's not. It makes it so much easier to be able to add a side door in the garage, and so that is what I did here. And then I added that circular window on top of it just to make it look better than having like a super short door on a tall wall. Those just never looks right to me. Having a short door on a tall wall just never looks good to me. And so one way to get around that is by adding a circular window or even a squared window. Any sort of window on top, it makes it look like the door is the right size for the wall, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm just furnishing the upstairs area really quickly. I have a hall table with a goldfish bowl on top of it, with a lamp and some flowers right next to that, with some really nice family picture frames on top. I did put the computer desk up there as well, but I end up changing that a little bit later because there is an extra room next to that area that I had no idea what to do with. I ran out of like people in the family because I reached the max number of Sims. I reached 8 Sims at that point. So I said, okay, well, what do I do now? So I ended up making that room an office, and then I put a foos table where the computer desk is. So you'll see that a little bit later in the build. And down here, I'm just making it into a lounging area, right? In the entryway, you can walk in, there's a piano right there, there's some couches you can sit on. I just had to make it look nice, basically. There is nothing else to add there other than that. So they are light colored couches though, they're beige, so I could totally see this being the area where the parents are like, or especially maybe the mom, maybe she's like super neat and doesn't like her house to be dirty and stuff, and so she says those couches are not to be sat on. They are just for show. They are my nice entryway living room couches. If you want to sit down, go to your room or go to the actual entertainment living room where the TV is. That's where you can sit down. But these are my nice couches, so don't you dare sit on them. I could totally see her being like that, especially in a house like this that's like so nice and grand. And there's so many places that the Sims could be other than that front entryway that I could totally see them having that as like an off limits area. Other than the piano, obviously. And maybe adults or guests can sit on it, but the kids, that's a big no-no. They would get it dirty because it is beige. So we are working on the first kids room. I have 2 cribs in here for the infants. I figured that they have a set of twins as like their babies. This is their youngest kids. They are now done having kids because the household is filled. I don't think I ever mentioned the types of Sims I thought was living in this house. So we have the parents over in the master bedroom, which we have done already at this point. We have these 2 infants. Upstairs, we have 2 children, and then we have a teenager. So that's 7. But I thought that they had a family dog as well. So that makes it 8. If you don't want the dog and you want more Sims, you could totally have an extra bedroom where the office is upstairs, but what family doesn't need a dog, you know, or a cat? I feel like a family pet is a necessity in every single household. But the infant's room turned out so cute. I absolutely love the tree decal from Growing Together. I use it in a lot of my infant's rooms, especially if it has like a green vibe. It gives it like a nature nursery theme, which I think is so cute. It matches the brown cribs perfectly with the green beds on it, and I have a dollhouse in there. We have a changing table, obviously. We have a couple sets of blocks for the infants, and we have a couple of the grabby mats as well, but those end up being in the living room. And then, of course, I did remember to add a couple of high chairs at the dining table, so that was nice as well. So we are now decorating the kitchen. I ended up cutting out where I did the main bathroom right there. It is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you could see it next to the kitchen. I mean, it's a bathroom, so how interesting can it be? You've seen me do the master bathroom, so I figured that was fine. I do cut out the ones upstairs as well. There ends up being 4 bathrooms in this house, so 2 downstairs and 2 upstairs. And the most interesting of the bathrooms was definitely the master bathroom, and you've seen me do that one, so at least you've seen one of them, and the rest are pretty similar. So here in the kitchen, I am using the counter set from For Rent. I think it matches the Mediterranean aesthetic so well. I love the dark wood on the bottom and then the beige on top. And that tile, that backsplash, is actually from the kitchen clutter kit, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't ever use it because it doesn't really fit most of my kitchens for some reason. I've always found it a little bit difficult to use. I don't know why, but I ended up using it here and it fit perfectly, so I was happy about that. I think it usually doesn't fit because of my window placement isn't exactly on the middle of the tile, if that makes sense. I usually have it on like the half tile, and those backsplash pieces are perfectly designed to fit on like a whole tile. Like wall tile is what I mean. So as far as the functional items in the kitchen, we have a microwave, and I also added a rice cooker as well, and a coffee maker. So we have plenty of functional items in there. I also have a grocery bag and a little jar of cookies too from the kitchen clutter kit. And they are snapped to the countertops so that you're actually able to use them in game. So I popped back outside really quickly so that I can add this little pond area out here. It actually ends up turning out super cute. I end up adding a fountain in the very middle of it with some different decals of fish, and I add some ducks, plenty of little lily pads and stuff. Oh, and I also added some more fountains in the pool area too, so it just gives it like a really nice resort vibe back there. I think it turned out so nice. I really want to jump in game and go lounge in one of the loungers right by the pool. Do you guys ever feel that way, like you want to just go and experience what your Sims experience? Because I feel that literally all the time, especially when it comes to like builds like this or the resort that I built a few weeks ago. It just makes you want to jump in game, especially during summertime. So this room right here, I had no idea what to do with. Like, it was such a long, skinny room. It's more of like a hallway, but you have that back door area, which I chose the one that is just open all the time. I thought it made sense for a build like this. Um, yeah, I had no idea what to do with this area at all. So I ended up just placing a ping pong table and then I called it a day. Oh, and then the dog's food bowl. I have like a little board where you could set the curfew and stuff from Parenthood and just kind of some miscellaneous stuff. Um, but yeah, I almost did a bar right there, but it was such a tight fit that it didn't make a lot of sense, so I didn't want to do that. And ultimately, I decided to add a ping pong table instead. And to be honest, I'm really not mad about it, especially with the door open like that. You would probably get such a nice breeze. It would be like you're basically outside, but you're not. And you could be part of the party. Like, this looks like the perfect party house. You can have a pool party in the backyard. There is the little grill area with a lounging area. You have the ping pong table right there where you can play juice pong. I do end up adding a stereo outside as well, and one of those little like juice kegs from Discovery University too. So this is just such a fun area to be. So I am finishing up the living room now. We have a giant fireplace, and in that little space is usually a mirror. So that's the fireplace from Cats and Dogs. It has like a giant mirror on top, which I love, don't get me wrong, but I really love to add a TV in that slot instead. And it just makes it look like it's built that way. It looks so nice. And I am using the new couches we recently got from the free Makers Kit, which is still available to download as of right now on June 24th. So if you haven't grabbed it yet, then go grab it. I think you only have until the very beginning of July, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know if I'm wrong down below. But yeah, if I were you, I'd go grab it just in case it's not available next week or the week after, you know? You could never be too careful. It would suck to lose out on that opportunity though, because those are basically base game couches now. And there's two matching couches. There is a 3-seater sofa and a love seat, and the love seat is so cute. I love the little throw blanket that's on like the actual sitting part of it, and then both of them have pillows automatically on the couches, which is so nice that you don't have to add your own. So yeah, definitely go grab that one. And there's also a free pair of shoes too, which honestly, they're fine. They're not my favorite pair of shoes at all. They're heels, which I do like heels, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, there's just something about them. They're a little bit on the chunky side, which I don't know, I don't love. But yeah, they're free, so definitely go grab them. So I just got the garage downstairs done. I have the little laundry room, and then I have some workout equipment in there too. So it's kind of like an at-home gym / laundry room instead of a garage, but it has the look of a garage. But yeah, I do really love to make my garages look like garages, but actually be useful at the same time. And I love the laundry area. I have a little table in front of the washer and dryer to make it look like that's the little folding station that the parents use, or the kids, whoever is in charge of the laundry at the moment. It just makes it look so realistic. And then on the other side where the gym equipment is, I have a treadmill, a cycle bench thing, and then I have some like weightlifting machines too. And I have a radio on like a stack of boxes, which I thought was interesting for like a garage. It kind of fit. Some motivational posters above that, and I went back and added some of those like hand weights from Lovestruck in between the workout equipment too, just to decorate it a little bit. Like, that's not actually functional, but it's nice for decoration. And then of course we have that side door I was talking about earlier that leads outside to the sidewalk, where you could go either to the front yard or to the backyard. I end up putting some trash cans out there as well, like right next to the fence. You probably won't see me do that. I think I ended up cutting that out, but I do end up adding trash cans there. Instead of the very front area where the mailbox is, I end up changing that into a little basketball hoop, which I thought was so realistic to have it by the sidewalk out by the road. That's usually where I see them in real life when people have basketball hoops. It's usually out by the road, which I know that sounds dangerous, but it's true. So if I think about it before I start building a house, or if it just works out perfectly like it did here, then I will put it out in the very front of the lot instead of it being above the garage or next to the garage. I'll do that too, but my favorite place to put it is out by the front sidewalk right by the road. So I am now, well, I was working on the teens room. I ended up finishing it up before I got to talk about it, but it's pretty simple. It is a normal teen girl's room. We have a bed from Lovestruck that has like a floral headboard. I think it's so pretty, especially that like pinkish, burgundy-ish swatch like I used here, and above it I used the floral decal, which is also from Lovestruck if I'm not mistaken. And then there is a computer desk in there. I have an easel. I figured she was into like painting. Her room looks very artsy. Maybe she painted that floral decal instead of it being a decal. Maybe it's more of like a mural and she actually painted it onto her wall. That's like a nice little fun thought. And then I also added a TV in there as well. And honestly, that's really about it for the teens room. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. I do have a Jack and Jill bathroom in between these two rooms. So this is a child's room, but I figured it was for a girl. So it was really nice to have the Jack and Jill bathroom for the girls to share, and I tried to mimic that in the bathroom. So there's like purple or pink towels and stuff in there, so it looks like it's kind of obvious that two girls are sharing that bathroom. And then we have the son, who I thought was like a child, maybe about to turn into a teenager, maybe like a preteen if preteens existed in The Sims 4. He is in the other bedroom that's next to this one, and there is an additional bathroom upstairs as well as downstairs, but maybe he uses the other one upstairs to himself, and when the twin infants grow up, they could share the one downstairs to themselves. And then obviously whatever guests come to the house, there's a bathroom downstairs. So in the girls' room, I put whatever I could fit in there as far as like child skill building items. We have a creativity table and a mental table. And then I also put a little butterfly net in there too. Maybe she caught her own like caterpillar or butterfly and she wants to watch it grow, I guess. That is from Adventure Awaits. I think it's super cute. It's nice to have an additional like pet in the house other than the dog without it taking up a space in the household, if that makes sense. The same thing with like the hamsters and the fishbowl and stuff, which I would have loved to have added a hamster cage in this build somewhere, like in the child's room or maybe this kid's room, but I did not have that pack enabled. That's, you know, one of the bad parts about having certain packs enabled and certain ones disabled is you always think of an item you wish you had, but you didn't. And my first pet stuff is like always an afterthought for me. Like I never use it unless it's for the hamster cages or maybe the rug that comes with my first pet stuff, but that's really honestly about it. Oh, and then the pet bed that it comes with is super cute too, but the pet beds are so large that I never find myself using them. I always figure the dog can sleep on the couch or something. I feel like that's pretty realistic anyways. So in the boys' room, I didn't fit any child item in there. I figured if he is a child and not an actual teen, then he can use his sister's like child skill building items. But I figured he was really into sports anyways, so I see him playing basketball outside all the time with his friends, And there's also some playground equipment that he plays on all the time in the backyard too. And other than that, he really likes to play video games. So he really doesn't like to work on the mental table or draw on the creativity table anyways. So I didn't find it necessary to put either one of those in his room. And like I said, if you want him to work on those skills, he can just use his sister's items in her room. I did put a stuffed animal in his room though, mostly because I ran out of ideas of what to put in there. And so I seen a stuffed animal and I just put it there, and then I put like some sports equipment in front of it. I thought it looked cute, so I kept it. That's really the only reason why I put a stuffed animal in there. And the last part of the house that I decorated was that little office upstairs, and I changed the computer desk from the hallway to the office, and then I put a foosball table in the hallway instead, just for some sort of entertainment. It fit perfectly in that spot too, so it was too perfect not to put there. And honestly, who doesn't love a good foosball game anyways? So you got the ping pong table downstairs and the foosball table upstairs. There's a lot of entertainment in this house for sure. So we are now back outside finishing up the exterior of the house, and I came up with this idea to put a pergola in this area. I thought it fit on this wall literally perfectly, so I ended up doing that. This pergola is from My Wedding Stories. I almost used the one from base game because I do like that one a little bit better, but it just didn't fit as nicely as this one did. And it's not exactly even, which throws my OCD off a little bit, but if you don't look at it too hard, then you cannot tell. So just don't look at it if it bothers you. And I tossed around a few different ideas of what I wanted to put under the pergola, and I ultimately decided just to make it into a little sitting area. I almost did a table and chair set so that you could have a nice dinner out here, but we already have an umbrella table and chair set over on the patio, so I felt like having another dining set out here was a little bit overkill, so I decided to do a lounging area instead, so maybe the parents could sit out here and have a few drinks while they watch their kids on the playground or swimming in the pool, or this would be the perfect area to entertain some guests while having some drinks. Whatever the case may be, it's just a little sitting area. And I decided to pull out some of these fairy lights and place it around the top of the wood on the pergola. And I am so happy I did that because I thought it dressed up the area so nicely and made it look so cute. I do end up adding more landscaping in that area too to make it look even better, but I don't do that until the very end when I finish the landscaping in the front too. And this sidewalk in the front of the build just did not look right to me. I thought about it during the whole build of what I could do there, but by the end of the build, I end up putting it on like a diagonal, and that made it look so much better. Well, the one on the left side, I end up making a diagonal, and then the one leading to the front door, I end up keeping it pretty much as is. I almost did a diagonal on this side, but it looked a little bit like too much diagonal. And so ultimately I decided to do the diagonal just on the left side, and then the other side keep it as an L shaped like I originally had it. So I ended up putting a wall hung mailbox in the front entryway on the wall right by the front door so that I could have the basketball hoop all by itself in the front part of the build. See how good that looks? And I end up adding a little stack of sports equipment there too, just to dress it up a little bit. But I just think it's so realistic to have the basketball hoop there instead of having it right above the garage, which obviously above the garage is realistic too, but this is like the most realistic it can get. And having like the edge of the lot right on the sidewalk like that and adding my own additional sidewalk next to it, it's kind of like it's built onto it and it's meant to be that way. I also love how the lot next to this one, they actually meet each other. Like you don't see that very often in The Sims. Like usually there is a gap in the neighborhood in between the lots themselves, and this one is different. It actually, they meet each other, so it makes it easier to build next to each other and look like it actually belongs, if that makes sense. Like the sidewalk in the very front literally meets the sidewalk on the other lot. Like, it's hard to explain, but I do really love that. I wish the rest of the neighborhoods did that exact thing and it wasn't just like an empty lot next to the one you're building on, or a little bit of a gap before it reaches your neighbor's yard, you know? Having the lot lines actually touch just makes it more realistic. At least in Florida, where I am from, they have lot lines right on top of each other. Like your lot line will be here and your neighbors will be like basically right on top of yours. Like they don't have spaces in between houses like that. At least not in my neighborhood where I grew up, or the one I live in now, or the ones I've lived in my whole life. Like in between my childhood home and my home now. Maybe the fancy neighborhoods, they have space in between their lots, but not the normal neighborhoods. So I am finally finishing up the landscaping throughout the lot. So I am doing a mix of these debug bushes, the really big bulky ones, and these ferns from the Build By catalog, as well as some white hydrangeas. I found that mix to look the best with this style house and with the window boxes with the red flowers that I'm using here. If I did yellow flowers on the whole lot other than the window boxes, that wouldn't look right. The pink wouldn't look right. I couldn't find a red that matched exactly with these red flower boxes. Like there are some flowers in the Build By catalog that are red and you could make it work, and I've done it before in the past, but they're just not my favorite. The shape of them are not circular like the ones here are, which I like the circular ones. They're more of like skinny on the bottom and thicker at the top, like bushes in real life typically are, but I don't like it in The Sims. So I'm using these circular white ones instead, which I thought I used the hydrangeas, but I'm seeing now I decided against the hydrangeas and I decided to use these instead. They just fit a little bit better. And they're more like a subtle white flower. The hydrangeas are like, bam, in your face. Nice and white and really pretty. I love them, but these matched with the ferns and the rest of the bushes a lot better. They're not as flashy, I guess. Like the white hydrangeas kind of took away from the rest of the house a little bit. If I added too many, and you guys know me, I go overboard with landscaping a lot, so I definitely didn't want to risk it. So in the backyard, in like the playground area, I added, instead of a modular playground, I did individual pieces of playground equipment. We have a standalone slide, and we have a swing set, and then we have some monkey bars, and that's pretty much it. And then of course the really fun pool area next to it. So the backyard, I actually really love the way the backyard turned out. And once I'm done with the landscaping, the last thing I do is the terrain paint, which brings the whole build together. I absolutely love terrain paint in The Sims 4. I used to never know how to do it, but The Sims 4 terrain paint is so much easier than other Sims games, especially The Sims 2. That one is difficult. It doesn't have an opacity slider like it does in The Sims 4, and that is what makes it so much better here in The Sims 4, is the opacity slider. It makes it so much easier to use. So I just do like a light layer of the dying grass and then the darker garden soil on top of that, and it blends it together really nicely. So we have officially reached the end of today's build. I had so much fun building this and going over it with you guys, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Of course, if you do enjoy this build and if you would like to see me build more builds just like this one, consider leaving a like and also subscribing if you have not already. Especially leaving a like really lets me know you enjoyed this particular build. Also, share this video with your friends if they are Simmers as well, and if you think that they would enjoy it. Don't forget to leave a comment down below of what your favorite part of today's build is. This is available to download on my gallery, which is linked in the description box and also on my main YouTube profile. And if you still cannot find it, then it is literally the same exact name as my YouTube name, The Clumsy Simmer, with no spaces. I hope you all have an amazing day or night. Stay tuned for the screenshots, and I will see you all in the next one very soon. Bye, guys!